If you hear these words, know this: it is not by chance. This is resonance, an echo of destiny guiding you here. Your soul, perhaps without even realizing it, has long awaited this call, this quiet yet persistent summons. In the silence surrounding us, a silence so easily drowned out by the deafening cacophony of truths imposed upon us daily, there exists a faint whisper. A whisper that many of us, like myself, have tried to silence for years, immersing ourselves in work within the depths of laboratories. There, amidst instruments and formulas, the light of reason penetrated the darkest, unexplored corners of existence, attempting to unravel its mysteries. You find yourself here not merely for fleeting amusement or idle curiosity. Your presence signifies that within you burns that very spark, an inextinguishable flame refusing to be extinguished by the onslaught of mundane illusion. Before we step across the threshold into the sanctum, where the very fabric of reality thins to an imperceptible thread, where past and future intertwine into a single pulsating moment of eternity, you must make your choice. Your like, your simple approval, is something far greater. This is already a declaration of your intention, your first conscious step towards the unknown. It is a signal, as if saying to the universe itself, I am ready to see. Your subscription is not merely passive following, it is a decisive entry into the ranks of those who have not resigned themselves to the role of an observer, but actively seek truth. It is a step across an invisible threshold, where the knowledge gained transforms into a powerful weapon, and awakening becomes the soul's salvation. The very truth that they so carefully hide behind the colorful screen of daily news, behind the impregnable walls of secret protocols, behind the glittering tinsel of scientific-sounding yet empty explanations, is actually simple and terrifyingly real. This is not another conspiracy theory. It is a genuine conspiracy against your consciousness. Everything that seems familiar, everything you are accustomed to believing, is merely the thinnest layer of paint applied to a crudely assembled canvas. We are surrounded not by the real world, but by a carefully woven simulation, spun from fear and deep ignorance. And somewhere in the very heart of this illusion, at its unshakable core, lies a device capable not only of observing the very fabric of time, but far more importantly, of manipulating it. This device, like a child born in realms where scientific progress is ominously intertwined with occult knowledge. Deep within the Large Hadron Collider, beneath thousands of layers of concrete and steel, not just new elementary particles were being born, but entire new realities, forgotten prophecies, meticulously encoded in the most ancient of manuscripts, were suddenly beginning to take on a chilling, terrifying meaning. Recall the sensational leak from Protocol Chimera, which spoke of mysterious chronoparasites that fed on the very entropy of events, distorting the course of history. Or the classified report from the Club of Rome, which predicted the onset of a singularity of control, a moment when time loops would become not mere anomalies, but instruments for total global enslavement. This cannot be mere coincidence. These are but echoes of one great and hidden truth. A hermit monk named Kenshin, whose inscribed scrolls were discovered in the ashes of a burned monastery on the slopes of Mount Kurama, wrote of a mythical river of time, which it turns out can not only be directed but also completely dammed. And a lost quatrain from Centuries Inuit, the 93rd verse, speaks of a shadow that shackles the stars. This is more than a clear indication of monstrous interference in the natural divine course of the cosmos. The prophecies of the Great Vanga, the complex astronomical calculations of the ancient Maya, the mysterious revelations of the Gnostics, all of them, despite the difference in words and images, tirelessly speak of the same thing. It is about deliberately constructed cracks in the very fabric of existence, about souls trapped in an inescapable predicament of repeating eternal scenarios. This is not mere abstract, cosmic mind games. This is harsh reality, relentlessly seeping into your very existence. Remember that inexplicable, soul-chilling anxiety that suddenly grips you precisely at 3 o'clock in the morning, when the entire world around you stills, plunging into silence, and all the ghostly illusions of daily existence begin to slowly dissolve, like fog at dawn. Or that burdensome feeling of alienation when you look at the faces of passers-by on the street, and they suddenly begin to seem like mere will-less puppets, controlled by someone's invisible strings. This is not banal depression, and certainly not your personal, insignificant malfunction. This is your soul desperately suffocating in this artfully woven matrix. This is your true, higher self furiously screaming for awakening, trying with all its might to break free from this golden, yet so confining cage. But let us consider, what if all these terrible monsters we are constantly told about, destructive wars, all-consuming crises, devastating pandemics, catastrophic economic collapses, are in reality merely ghostly shadows dancing on the walls of some ancient cave? Have you ever considered that the true tyrant, the one weaving the web of enslavement, might be looking at you directly from your own reflection? We become so easily captivated by the world around us, its phantom threats, its alluring promises, and its ceaseless bustle. We are convinced that true freedom awaits us somewhere far off, beyond the confines of our current circumstances. But this is a dangerous illusion, a treacherous trap. The real battle unfolds not on blood-soaked battlefields, but in the unexplored depths of our own consciousness. The universe is not at all bringing down retribution upon humanity. No, it is performing a most delicate cosmic surgery, as fine as a surgeon's scalpel. It is meticulously burning away the poison that corrodes our essence, the poison of fear, the poison of ignorance, the poison of blinding materialism that has tainted our nature for centuries. What we have grown accustomed to calling our reality is merely a fragile, shifting construct built upon a rotten foundation of lies. This delicate crown of glass, which we so carefully protect, our ego, the illusory image of ourselves, begins to crack under the onslaught of genuine, all-pervading energies. The soulless, metallic veins of the system, those rigid, unyielding structures that seem to dictate the course of our lives, are in reality but fleeting constructions, doomed to inevitable decay. It is here, in this unique place where humanity's most advanced thoughts merge with the timeless wisdom of generations, that we were able to touch the greatest mystery. Prophecies, predictions, profound revelations, they do not foretell the arrival of some savior who will one day appear and fix everything. No, this is not a warning. This is an activation code. It is a detailed instruction manual for the Savior who already lives within each of us inside. The prophets foresaw not a single hero destined to change the world. They saw an entire army of awakened souls, united by a common aspiration for light. They saw you. You are not merely a passive spectator, not just another page in the book of prophecies. You are the very essence of the coming change. You are this very embodiment. Our most significant, most fateful mistake was expecting someone else from outside to come and save us. For it is we ourselves who are the true creators of the reality in which we live. But sadly, we have completely forgotten this. We mindlessly surrendered all our strength, all our attention, all our energy to external circumstances, external events, external people, sincerely believing that no other path simply existed. However, in reality, the cherished key to true liberation has always lain deep within ourselves. It consisted of our ability to finally realize the illusoriness of the familiar world and make a conscious choice in favor of another, more authentic reality. Research conducted in the most hidden depths of CERN reached boundaries that no sane person could have foreseen. We touched the most subtle fabric of time, the unshakable foundations of cause and effect. And it was there, in this abyss of knowledge, that we came to a shocking understanding. The past is not something immutable and final, and the future, in turn, is by no means predetermined. Our reality is not a fixed, unyielding point, but rather a shifting, ever-transforming field of infinite possibilities. Yet, when we, succumbing to the illusion of control, attempted to directly influence this field, when we decided to correct certain moments we believed were wrong, we faced consequences we could never have imagined. We naively assumed we were the sole masters of time. We were certain we could rewrite the very script of existence, erase mistakes made, and avert what seemed like an unavoidable catastrophe. But we overlooked one crucial factor. Time is not a soulless mechanism. It is a living, breathing organism. And when you try to cripple it, when you intentionally inflict harm, it begins to actively resist. It starts to reflect and amplify your own deep-seated destructiveness. As a result, we triggered temporal anomalies that, like an echo, began to manifest in our world as a colossal amplification of chaos. What we so desperately tried to avoid, we ourselves created. But now it appeared on a completely different, far more subtle and elusive level. Imagine you're trying to fix just one thread in a vast, incredibly intricate tapestry. You tug, you pull, you attempt to weave something new, but in the end, you only tangle the entire pattern further. We've become such clumsy, careless weavers, and now our world is a living reflection of our own negligence, our deep-seated fear of the sheer immensity of creation itself. We opened Pandora's box ourselves, but instead of the expected evil, something far more insidious escaped. An all-consuming, self-destructive desire for control, which has become our chief, most dangerous enemy. This is not a dry scientific report. It's more of a revelation, a bitter realization. What transpired behind closed doors, in sterile laboratories, where only the faint glow of instruments illuminated the gaunt faces of people who had lost sleep and all peace in a mad pursuit of the unattainable, is a story of how the greatest, most dizzying achievements of the human mind can turn into the greatest danger if they are devoid of wisdom. We search for answers outside, in cold equations, in elegant formulas, in countless experiments. But the true profound answers were always within us. We discovered that time is not merely a straight, linear flow, but something far more complex, akin to a fractal structure. Every moment reflects the pattern of all existence. Our decisions, every accomplishment, every experience, These are seeds that take root through time, sprouting countless branches of potential paths. And when we dared to interfere with this natural flow of things, when we tried to fix the past, we not only failed to correct it, but sowed the seeds of present chaos. It's akin to attempting to alter a single note in a grand symphony, causing the entire melody to unravel into discordant dissonance. We craved control, but found only utter unmanageability. We sought to foresee the future, but only drew its darkest omens closer. Those experiments with the time machine, as we called it, were not merely attempts to travel through the years. They were a yearning to grasp the very essence of reality. And we did grasp it. We came to understand that reality is not something we merely observe. This is what we wrought. And when the realization dawned that we had lost all control, it felt different from a mere acknowledgement of a regrettable miscalculation. It was as if you suddenly found yourself standing at the very edge of a gaping chasm, and to your horror, understood that your own feet continued to carry you forward relentlessly toward the abyss. We unleashed into this world not only the most tangible consequences of our actions, but something far more subtle, barely perceptible: energy waves, disturbances. We disrupted the very harmonic resonance of the universe, its most delicate, eternal melody, and now this universe, is striving with all its might to restore the lost balance, often resorting to processes that seem agonizing to us, but which are, in reality, inevitable and necessary. This is not the end. This is merely the very beginning. The beginning of consciousness awakening. The beginning of a long journey towards one's true self. We have extended a key to you. Now it is your turn to throw open that door. Do not let the shadows, appearing as monstrous specters, paralyze you with fear. They are but distorted reflections of your own anxieties. True strength resides within you, in your inner radiance, in your unwavering capacity to choose. Now that your eyes are open, inaction is no longer an option. You cannot return to your former life, to the silent ignorance of before. Your like is a bright beacon, visible across the network, telling others, you are not alone on this journey. And your share is a precious seed, carefully planted in the fertile soil of slumbering minds, offering them a chance to awaken and see. Finally, your subscription is a solemn vow. A vow to stand ready to fight for your true freedom, for your reality. If you are ready to embrace the challenge, if you crave action, if you aspire to become an integral part of a mighty, living force transforming the world from within, then our inner circle is your operational base, and your support, expressed through super thanks, becomes the very energy that fuels our shared flame in the relentless battle against the encroaching darkness. This is not merely an act of charity. It is a strategic investment in the shaping of a new, better reality. Until our next meeting, maintain clarity of mind, stay connected, and never stop asking